Hello, this is Jack Spurner with Dungeons of Infinity, and there was a request made when I made the unboxing video that I go through some of the hero cards. Now I'm going to go through the 10 heroes that come with the base game. Now these are the 10 heroes that are involved in the campaign. I'm going to let you discover the other ones on your own. So we're going to go through their abilities, and not in great detail, but I just want to go through them for you. These are level 1 abilities up in the right corner. That is the number of action points that it takes. And then over here on the side, you see that this one is not going to draw a Lord event card, and this one you have to have combat going on. But essentially what Intimidating Presence does is he scares enemies and they run away if they're less than a certain power level. Then we have Bash, so he's going to open a chest in the dungeon by bashing it, and when he first does it, he's making a ton of noise, and you have to assess the threat twice. So that would raise your threat meter twice, or you would draw 2 Dungeon Lord cards. Brawler he gets 2 extra action points on this. And notice the meter here. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you level up, the ability, the power level goes from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. So this, you attack 2 adjacent enemies, roll for each attack, and you get 1 experience for each attack. And the power added to his character is 2 through 6. Enrage. This is an awesome ability. This is my favorite. For 2 rounds, he gets 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 extra power. It takes 3 action points to do, so it takes his whole turn. Then for the next 2 rounds after that, every regular attack he does is going to cause a massive amount of damage. Now this is a level 2 ability that basically when he gets to health of 3 or below, he's going to get health back. Now this is one where he charges into the roll in front of him, and he will attack that roll enemy, and if there's an enemy behind him, he will attack that one. This is a level 4 ability, attack from any front roll with added power. Ignore the enemy's hit chance. Roll once, so you attack the front roll enemies, all front roll or middle roll enemies with added power, which is cool. Attack all enemies, each for each attack. This attack does not apply normal damage. On a roll of 1 through 13, the enemy is stunned. And you do have to assess the threat and draw a Lord event card. Now these are his 2 items he can earn from getting Mysterious Ore. He can get this and creates Intimidating Presence 2, so more enemies will flee because the numbers go up. And then this one gives him an extra action point. And the nice thing about these is they are permanent. You put them onto a slot. This goes on the feet, this goes on the body, and no matter what equipment you change, it's always there. So that's a Kachi. This is Seph. And I point out that these, I'm going to go ahead and grab his cards again, that any card that has a plus on it is not part of your base ability cards. You're going to get that when you add one of these attachment cards when you do the Mysterious Ore. So you would set any card with a plus and the attachment cards aside until you earn them. Seph, we're going to go through her real quick. She can light up a room so you can go see what's in there before you step in there, which is incredibly valuable. Now with this one, she gets no experience because, well, it just broke the game because you use it constantly. She can restore health to every hero in the tile with her if they need health repair. She can do this attack, Infusion of Elements. She can add fire or ice damage to it, as well as the benefit of adding more power. This one lowers the defense of all enemies, which is very handy when you're attacking tough enemies. and the stronger it gets, the more defense you can subtract. And this one basically attaches their chance of hitting you, their hit chance, and makes it lower. And this is a new addition to version 2, is you would put a reference token on the card and on the tile so you know that this card is active in that tile. Nice addition. This is a Blazing Flame Shield, which basically protects any enemy heroes in the tile from ice damage, and plus raising their defense. Very handy. Now this one's kind of unique. It kind of has a added disadvantage of losing 3 health, but it also, she now has the ability to remove a status token. So if a mist puts a power minus, or if the mist puts a defense minus or an action point minus, she can remove that, but for 2 rounds, the effect that she put in there is so damaging that you lose 3 health. But it might be worth it to wait 2 rounds to get that stuff out of there, whatever it is, so you can move on and not take the damage. Phoenix Missile is an interesting ability. It causes fire damage, and it's 11 damage, and you're doing that to 2 adjacent enemies, and the attack always hits. No dice roll. Now here's her two attachment cards. This one makes her fire attacks, all of them, go up to 3 damage. And this one allows you to, if combat is initiated on entering an undiscovered dungeon tile, you can perform a free retreat action, or she can, ignoring all surprise conditions on the risk card, which is very handy for her. All right, let's go to Indolf. Indolf is the nephew of King Armiger. Dispel Mist, very handy. He can get rid of mist tokens from a tile away or in that tile, so just like with Seph and Reens, Indolf can, if there is a health token in there, or a minus defense or a minus power, it can be removed. Explosion is an interesting ability. It's going to cause fire damage, and Indolf is going to explode and appear in another tile. Attack 1 enemy with added power and level. If the attack hits, all front row enemies weak to fire receive elemental damage, and this hero may perform a free retreat action. So he can bail out of that room. So it's a nice way to get out of a bad attack without having to get that retreat where the enemy gets that free attack. Here he can cause ice damage, Frozen Fist. He's attacking 1 enemy with the power based on level. So it's a set power, not an addition. So if there's no plus sign, that is the power of that attack. And you're going to see with Indolf is he can do fire, ice, poison. He can do all 3 of the elementals. So whatever enemy is attacking him, he is able to cause the added damage. So this one, just Venom Fang, he causes poison damage, and he gets the added power bonus. Now Kronos is an ability I like using, but I've seen a lot of people not use it. But essentially, he has 3 action points every round. If you use Kronos, you use all your action points, the next round you have 8 action points. Or you have 7 action points. So it gives you an extra thing. So if you got something going on where you want to attack an enemy, you can get that extra attack in here because of this ability. So here's a Shield Smash, which is going to give him an added hit chance and more power. And here you assess the threat. Now this is stun, so you can also stun the enemy. Very nice. Add defense based on level, so this can really level up someone's defense if they're, or Indolf's defense if he's fighting a dungeon lord. And so his 5 is Caustic Wave, apply damage based on level to all enemies. So he can just instantly do 2 damage to all enemies in the tile. And then here's his attachment cards. He gets a boot that gives him more action points, which is awesome. And then he can replace Kronos with Kronos Plus, which gives him more action points the next round. Very good. Now Lona is the first character we have who has this, she can do attack the 3rd roll, 1st, 2nd, or 3rd roll, and she can also attack from 2 tiles away. So precise aim. This shows you if she's in the same tile, her hit chance goes up 2. If it's a tile away, it's 0. And if it's 2 tiles away, it's less likely to hit. She gets a -2, but she can attack one enemy from 2 tiles away. This is a poison arrow, which basically does the same thing, but it adds poison damage. Thrust is an ability she has, 2 action points, but you can attack twice, and it's raising her power and it's raising her hit chance. And it's considered a melee attack, and it will assess the threat. And for her, she does not have many abilities where she can actually have to draw Dungeon Lord cards. This is a illusionary defense. You subtract the enemy's hit chance from it, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, on all attacks made against this hero, so she can make herself hard to hit. This is attack one enemy, and you can do it from in the same tile or only 1 tile away. You can't go to the 2 tiles away, but you get the added hit chance. So that's very handy, and that's with the bow. You got to have a bow equipped to do these distance attacks. Hail of arrows is going to also make it very hard for them to be hit, because -4, -5, -6. And this is for attacks against all other heroes in the tile as well as herself. Death from above can be done from in the tile, a tile away, 2 tiles away, and you attack 3 times against the same roll with the added power and level, so you can attack each enemy once. The same enemy may be attacked more than once, or you can attack them all once, depending on what you want to do. And her level 5 ability is attack 2 times against one enemy and add the power based on level. This ability may be only used twice per round. Well, it makes sense. She has 4 action points. But this is going to do a confuse. And what happens with confuse is the enemy will attack one of their compadres instead of you. If she gets Mystic Stash, which goes on her body, you're going to get +1 power and +2 hit chance on all of her standard attacks. And then this gives her poison +2 on all of her attacks, which is also awesome. Now we're going to go to Randrpagos. His first ability here is he can do an ice path, and you can jump on it and you can travel the whole distance of the ice path. And it goes ice path tokens in this dungeon tile and up to 3 adjacent tiles in a straight line, but this hero loses health based on level, so he's going to, because it takes a lot out of him, a hero may perform a free move action to travel in either direction along the path, but must travel all the way to the end. And the nice thing is, if you read in the rules, you just travel right on by any enemies, which is a nice way to escape. This is going to cause fire damage to not hurt enemies, and it's also going to add to the defense for 2 rounds. So you do the reference token thing, and you put this on his card with that reference token. So let's say an A and an A on the tile. You know that in that tile, your defense is improved. This one, attack 1 enemy with the added hit chance and the added power and extra fire damage. Very nice. Cone of Frost is going to subtract defense from all enemies in the tile. So you put a cone of frost over them. And once per round, if someone's weak to ice, they're going to take elemental damage. That's a very nice ability if you got a room full of enemies weak to ice. Now, this is encased in ice. You essentially attack 1 enemy, but if they are weak to ice, they're not going to take ice damage. They're going to become stunned. So that means they don't act. Attack a number of enemies based on level. Roll for each attack. This attack does not apply normal damage. What it does is it's going to add fire damage and stun to the attack, which is awesome. So you can basically attack 3, 4, or 5 enemies and ice damage them and stun them. This is attacking 2 adjacent enemies with added power, and that's the attack number, 10 and 11, depending on what round. And this one, level 5 ability. Essentially, if you're weak to ice, you're going to flee the combat, so you can clear a room out quickly that way. Now, here's his attachments. Poach of Distraction. You can make noise in an adjacent tile. Draw a Lord event card. Cause the noise to be 5. So you can draw the Dungeon Lord away with that. And then this gives him the ability to do fire damage on his regular attacks. Very cool. Okay, we've got 5 done, 5 to go. So this is going to be a... Okay, now we've got Sarah Maestro. Let's turn her over. And she's a little different hero. She uses mind control. And so when you subtract the enemy's defense from her hit chance is higher. You'll see on her hero board it's higher than everyone else's. But that's because you're subtracting the defense from it. Now let's see what abilities we got here. She's got some unique abilities. This is going to affect her power. This is attack one enemy based on level with the power, and this is going to confuse the enemy. Then we have another level 1 ability. This is going to stun and subtract the defense from one enemy until the end of the round. So if you got one you really want to focus on, you can stun it so it doesn't attack, and then you can also lower its defense from 2 to 6. So that's pretty awesome. Burning Vision. This is a interesting one. In my mind, how I envision this is she plants in the target's mind that they are on fire. So apply damage based on level to one enemy. So damage is going to be 2 through 6. But also, if they're weak to fire, they are going to flee. And we have another one here that causes enemies to flee called Terrorize. Attack one enemy with modified hit chance based on level. So the hit chance is going to go down. It's harder to initiate this, and plus you're subtracting their defense. But if it hits, they're going to flee. Whether they're weak to fire or not, they're going to flee. And here's another one where you're subtracting the power. This is from one enemy. So if you have an enemy who is causing a lot of trouble, if they're in the same tile with Sarah and the range of 3, so she can hit anyone in the roll, their power is going to go down for that round. This is attacking all enemies. This is a level 3 ability. Roll for each attack. This attack does not damage, but on a roll of 1 through 5, 1 through 6, or 1 through 7, depending on level, you are going to stun the enemy. So she can stun an entire roll and group of enemies. Now here she's going to cause confusion, which she can turn a room into chaos and they're all attacking each other. Attack 3 enemies with added hit chance, so her hit chance goes up 4 and 5. Roll for each attack. This attack does not apply normal damage. What it does is it stuns them. No, I'm sorry, confuses them. And they can go bonkazoid and start attacking each other. So all enemies with the defense less of 9 flee. That'll clear out a room. And then we have her attachment cards that you make with the Mystic Ore. And you get a Lonely Wind plus and you get Burning Vision plus. And essentially what this does, it takes the Lonely Wind and gives you more defense subtraction. And it takes the Burning Vision and turns it into ice also. So if they're weak to fire or ice, they will flee. So that's very cool. You'll see that the attachment cards do some really nice things to heroes' abilities. Now we have Sasha Foti, and she is an alchemist who likes to toss bombs. And she has a grid, and the one in the middle is where it hits, and then so she can affect damage on an entire formation of enemies. Now it's a bomb, you're drawing 2 Dungeon Lord cards. You can do it from a tile away, and it makes a ton of noise. So you can do it a tile away and draw the Dungeon Lord to where you aren't. And her mechanics are different. She's rolling to see whether she throws a bullseye, which is she throws right on the roll she's shooting for and the enemy she's shooting for, or does she throw long, or does she throw short. She actually can hit herself and cause herself damage if she flubs to throw. This is a flash bomb, and it's will confuse, target one row of enemies. So you're confusing an entire row of enemies, causing a noise of 6, but it's harder to do. That's her throw chance, and it goes down 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's harder to get that bullseye. Here we have a sticky bomb. This one is target one enemy with added throw accuracy. So you're gonna, she's taking more time to throw, and determine the grid if they're stunned. So you can stun an entire group. You can stun an entire room. You can confuse a room. You can stun a room. Now, here we have Smoke Bomb, which used to be 1 card, and now it's 2 cards. And one thing with Smoke Bomb is you can lower a defense. So she throws Smoke Bomb in a room, it's going to lower the defense. Or you can use Smoke Bomb, we're using the reference token idea, that you can come and go in that room and you can retreat for free. This is incredibly valuable, and it's a level 1 ability. It's incredibly valuable for getting out of combats when you got problems to have Sasha in your team. Here she can heal one hero. Here you can she can raise her defense. She can add that to any hero. So here's the elixir, drink it. Your defense has gone up for that round. Here she can throw a bomb in a room and discover what's in there. So as you see, we have, not only does Seph have Firelight, which is one of the most powerful abilities in the game, but you have other heroes who also, but this is level 4, you got to wait a while, but she can light a room up to see what's in there. And then we have her great Mega Bomb, which is 2 Lord Event cards, noise of 8, and really powerful ability. And then here we have her attachment cards. We have her +2, her bomb throw, which really comes in handy for her accuracy, and then replace bomb with bomb plus, and it's just going to raise the power and the ability to hit for every bomb attack. So that is Sasha. Got lots of fun abilities, lots of heroes with all kinds of different things they can do. This is Saskia, and I used to know how to pronounce that, and I haven't pronounced it in a long time, so I'm not going to. But she is the former assassin, and please take time to, in your campaign book, read the heroes' backstories. Kristen just did an incredible job with these, and they're very interesting backstories, and it really comes in handy when you're doing the campaign to know what, kind of motivations for the heroes. So this is a neat level 1 ability. She can actually attack. Normally how the game works, if you attack another enemy who's focused on another hero, they will change focus and come attack you. This ability allows her to not draw their focus. So she can come in behind. They don't know where the attack came from, and they don't focus on her. And you also does not count against her Lord Event action, so it doesn't count as combat. Here is her new ability that is just in version 2. Version 1, Saskia does not have this. This is a toxic dart. I thought, so what we did is her Call to Arms is now on her board, and the going from 3 action points to 5 action points is now not an ability card. It's an ability she has on her card that when she equips 2 swords or 2 knives, she can go nuts and get 5 action points. She's at home when she's got 2 weapons equipped. This allows her to cause 3 poison damage, so it gives her, as an assassin should have, poison damage. This is her special Whirlwind, and Close Encounter is her special added power when she gets those 2 knives and 2 swords. So it's like, not only does having 2 knives give her more action points and 2 swords give her 2 action points, she also has now abilities that will give her more damage that she can cause. Now, one of the differences, the 2 swords will cause more damage than 2 knives, but still awesome abilities. This is one where you can subtract the hit chance from attacks made against her, so she makes herself harder to hit. You can attack 2 enemies with added power. Now this one is you double your power. So if your hero board has a power, if she has a power of 8, it's going to be 16. But she is going to subtract from her defense. She makes herself vulnerable, but that's not such a bad trade-off there with only 1 on the defense. And here's one, the very unique ability. She can go stealth for 4 rounds in the dungeon. That's a level 5 ability. And then, oops, didn't mean to hit that. And then here are her attachment cards. She gets Ghost Protocol 2, which causes less likely to hit and also causes damage, which is cool. And I just dropped the other one, Assassin's Gauntlet. Now don the black. There are enemies out there that will make you lose your item in your left or right hand. And this means that, which is terrible for her if she has 2 knives and then suddenly she only has 1. You have this equipped and that no longer affects her. She can use her Don the Black with only 1 knife and 1 sword, which is awesome. 2 more heroes to go. Shard. Shard is basically a weapons-free kind of guy. So he kicks and uses his hands. So his initial power is high, and it's hard to get it raised higher than it is. He's not a real good hero for fighting against dungeon lords. But man, he takes out those minions like no one's business. So here you're attacking 1 enemy with added power. Here you're attacking 2 adjacent enemies with added power. Here you're attacking all front row enemies with the possibility of stunning them. And here we have, he can add to his defense for 2 rounds. At level 2, he can attack 1 enemy with added power based on level, and you also are going to stun that enemy. Now this one, you reduce the hero's noise to 0 until the end of the round. If they do not receive damage before the end of the round, restore this hero's health. So he's going into a meditation where he's making no noise, and he is going to restore all of his health. Very handy. Third Eye. So this is where he can go into another hero who can discover what's in a dungeon tile, and you can get rid of surprise attacks that way by pre-discovering dungeon tiles. You basically get rid of attacks in general that are like, holy moly, I'm sorry I went in that room. So this will reduce his noise level to 0 until the end of the round. So what he does is he meditates, takes his whole turn, and then for 2 rounds after that, plus 8 power. He's a beast. His attachments are 2 hit chance to his standard attacks, and then his hurricane kick gets upgraded, which is awesome. Like I said, the attachments are really nice, but they're not really easy to get. They're not, but when you get them, they're really great. Here's Simon. He can open a treasure chest without a key. This is an awesome ability for him. If he attacks 1 enemy and then he hits them, their next attack against him gets a -5 on their hit chance. Plus, he already has a -5 because of his action points. Remember, when you're doing combat and the enemies are attacking you, you can always subtract your hero's action points because that represents their speed. So Simon's fast. So he is going to have a -10 when this ability hits. Now, it does use 3 action points. But if he's fighting a tough guy and he can take damage quickly, this is a great ability to keep him around a while. Backstab will raise his ability to hit and raise his power. Here's an ability that can... I get these confused. This is the confused ability. He can hit an enemy, 2 adjacent enemies, confuse them, and they can then attack each other. He's going to attack all front row enemies, and then on a roll of 1 through 8, he also stuns it. So you roll for each one, and you can stun them and cause them damage. Now, lots of his abilities draw Lord event cards. When he's just doing regular attacks, he is not drawing Lord event cards. He is not making the Dungeon Lord move. He is not making the Dungeon Lord show up because he's so stealthy. But these abilities, you actually do have to draw when you use them. So that's one of the disadvantages to using some of his abilities. But this is 2 times the power, but you're going to lose 2 defense. And this is a cool ability, and I had trouble wording it in the first version. And this basically says, Simon moves wherever he wants in the dungeon. And then whoever was with him can travel with him, take their entire turn to travel with him. So essentially, if you have a Kachi or a not Rolandra, but Indolf, someone who's noisy, they can travel with him and go to where he is and not take that noise hit, not take that Dungeon Lord attraction. And so here, he can actually run into a room, and this comes in very handy in a competitive game, and steal the reward card before the enemies are defeated. Makes him very popular. So he's got his attachments are, he's going to add Def Hand Plus and Backstab Plus. Essentially, what Def Hand Plus does, you notice you're not drawing Lord Event cards anymore on the Def Hand, which is awesome. And the Backstab becomes stronger. It's already a good ability, but it becomes stronger with that. So those are the 10 base game heroes and their ability cards. And remember, if the card has a plus on it, like this, it is not part of your hand until you get the item that turns that in. So you would replace Backstab with Backstab Plus if you have this attachment on Simon. So the heroes have more ability cards now than they did in version 1 because of the attachments. So that's all the 10 base game heroes. Hope you enjoyed. It's been a long video, but they all have a lot of unique and fun abilities. Thanks a lot, and I hope you really enjoyed Dungeons &